Do people ever tell you that you have become too emotional, that you're feeling things so deeply that you've become reactive and you're not being clear and objective in your thinking? Ever feel like you've been misunderstood in these interactions with people? Well, this video is for you guys. We want to talk about type 4s, and we're diving into 4s and trying to understand feelings versus clear, rational, objective thinking. So we might say this is a little bit of 4 versus 5 wing today, and learning to appreciate the best in both. So 4s, we know them as being deep, emotional, feeling, creative, unique, special. We know all those cliche things about 4s, but one of the things that 4s can sometimes struggle with is balancing their deep emotional feelings with clear, objective, reasoned thought. Now, the way this might show up is somebody saying to you, "Oh my gosh, you're so emotional. Oh my goodness, I can't win with you. It's like you don't want to understand what's going on." And you're going to maybe get criticisms like that. I would love to hear the criticisms that you get. If you want to put those in the comments, we can maybe talk about those or laugh about those or cry about those, whatever is appropriate. But 4s, I want to give you some actionable steps, like 4 clear steps, 4 steps for 4s, 4 steps that you can take to try to protect your relationships and move forward with your goals. Think you have a very good 3 wing right next to you. To move forward with your goals to live your best life and to be present to life, I want to give you 4 steps where it's going to lay out that I think would be meaningful to help you if you feel like you're overreacting or you have a tendency to react rather than to have, actions based on reasoned, objective thinking. Well, first thing I want to say though is I want to present the problem. Okay, so I've got my notes here in front of me. Actually, I have like 5 pages of notes. Look, guys, for just a video like this, and this is probably the 3rd time I've tried to make this video, so you guys can be kind of complicated, all right? And I'm working here. So type 4s are known for their deep emotions and unique creativity. Okay, everybody goes, sure, yeah, we got that. However, here's the problem, okay? Let me set up the problem for you. These intense feelings can sometimes cloud judgment. Well, do you think that's true? Do you think that's reasonable? Do sometimes when you feel, like let's say you feel rejected, or you feel like somebody doesn't really care about you, or maybe you give them a present that you feel like is super meaningful. One time they told you that they love horses, and so when you were on a trip in Arizona, you found this thing that, not only was it a horse, but it was the right color, and you really put a lot of thought and meaning into this gift, and you give it to them, and they just kind of open and go, huh, yeah, a horse, thanks. And, in those moments, how do you feel? How does that feel to you? And just realize that sometimes, this is what I'm talking about, is that sometimes that those intense feelings could cloud your ability to be objective or to remain objective in that situation. And it's not just you guys. I mean, I think all of us get this. But this could lead certainly to misunderstandings and hindering your own personal growth. It's crucial to recognize that while your emotions are 100% valid, and you need to be honest with those emotions, and I don't think denying them is any way to go forward in life, but while being honest with those emotions, to be balanced in that 5 wing of objective, clear thinking. In other words, to not get caught in the trees, but to be able to back up and see the forest and then think 3 wing. Maybe think about, what is it I really want here in this moment? Before I react, and remember 4s, 6s, and 8s are all in that reaction group on the Enneagram. Before I just react based on what I'm feeling, maybe I need to slow down and try to remain objective. And let me give you an example. Let me give you a story, okay? So imagine Sarah is a type 4. So let's make her whatever, the self-preservation, doesn't matter. Let's make her a 4. And she has an opportunity to go out with a friend named Lisa, okay? And they go out for coffee and they're talking, having a great conversation. Everything feels good. And Sarah just realizes how much she really likes Lisa and how long it's been since they've been able to really connect and spend time together. And she sort of leans in a little bit and says, "Man, I really have had a great time today. It's so good to see you again. It's so good to be able to get together and talk. We should do this more often." Okay, everybody says that, right? We should do this more often. To which Lisa responds, oh, I'd love to, but I've just been so busy with work. I've got this new project I'm working on, and I've got a new boyfriend. And she starts to talk about this new boyfriend. Okay, now those are pretty typical things that happen in people's lives, and we should be happy for them. But imagine Sarah in that moment. Imagine fears might start to come to the surface, or anxieties. Maybe Sarah has struggled with rejection in the past. Maybe she had some, crappy parents or something, or a bad relationship. In this moment, if she's not careful, those feelings of anxiety or fears of abandonment might cause Sarah to start to wonder, does Lisa really even care about me? Does Lisa even really... I'm trying to reach out to her. I'm trying to connect with her. And I feel like it's just being thrown back in my face. I don't feel like she's really making me the priority in her life that I want to be. And she's, turning from me to all these other things in her life. And this is, of course, going to feel awful. It would feel awful to anybody. But just notice, in that moment, if we could stop that moment, what Sarah might do if she just reacts based on those fears and on those feelings is push Lisa away. Maybe directly by saying something, imagine saying something like, oh my gosh, I thought that, our friendship meant more to you than this. Okay, so that could be the pushback, or it could just be like a withdrawing away and sort of withdrawing from the friendship and thinking, wow, see, I'm not really important to her. I don't really matter to her. She cares more about work, and she cares more about, all these other things. And this could certainly happen. I mean, this is very realistic. But imagine if Sarah could pause for a minute and just think about what happened, the interaction, and just take what was said on face value. Then, of course, you could realize, well, these are pretty normal things. All of us struggle with busyness. And we all know what it's like to be swamped at work and to be overloaded and not have enough time to be able to connect with people. And we all know what it's like to be in a new relationship. We all know what it's like, that excitement, that thrill of being, important to somebody and having a new beginning to a dating relationship. So these are very rational things that are going to occupy Lisa's attention. And in no way does this necessarily mean that Lisa doesn't want to stay connected to Sarah. But you can see that in this moment, this could collapse and maybe create some irreparable damage if we're not careful. So, type 4s often internalize their emotions deeply. Now, that's not a bad thing. I think the rest of us need to work at that. I need to get better at that as a 7. I need to get better at, being more in touch with emotions. Making it, though, sometimes a challenge because of those deep feelings, because those feelings feel so real. And they are real and they are valid, but they could cloud or skew your judgment a little bit. Now, okay, again, if you don't think this is true, then put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. All right, I'm just trying to understand. But I think it could skew. It does in my life. So when I think about type 4s, I would imagine this would be a struggle. And when I have conversations with 4s in my coaching business, I see this being a problem. And so this intense emotional color could filter your ability to see reality. So imagine colors. Imagine if you were upset or angry, it's red. And if you're feeling uncared for and unloved, maybe it's blue. And if you're feeling envious or, feeling maybe embarrassed about your performance based on somebody else's, then color that green. And when you put those glasses on, it colors the way you see reality. Your emotional mood or setting or framework is going to color how you view your reality, and then based on how you view reality, it's going to lead to certain actions or inactions or reactions that could start to move you in a direction you don't really want to end up in. I think you get the point. So understanding that this could be going on. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying this could be at times going on. Might explain why people sometimes react to you in confused looks or horrified looks. And you think what you're doing is very rational and clear, but other people are looking at you like, oh my gosh, oh wow, the intensity, right? And so if for no other reason to understand this, if not for your own personal growth, just to understand how other people might be perceiving you. Okay, realize that. There's a reason I'm talking about this topic. You might think, well, I don't think this is me at all. Okay, fair enough. Maybe it's not you. But maybe you're so deep into the weeds you don't even see this thing about yourself. And isn't that really what the Enneagram's about? It's about helping you see things about yourself that are called blind spots that you don't even recognize. And if you're consistently having people overreact to your actions or to your reactions, this may be part of the reason why. And at the end of the day, what's my goal for you? I'm a 7, guys. It's very simple. I want you to be happy. I want you to be content. I want you to be satisfied. I want you to have great relationships and to just bounce around in life feeling like the joy all the time. That's really what I want for you. I know it's not realistic, but I'm very open and honest about what I hope for you is that you live your best life and that these things that you may not see about yourselves don't hinder you from being able to have that life. So think about that 3-wing for a minute. Well, we'll get back there when we talk about the 4 steps. I got them coming up. Okay, 4 things you can do right now to sort of pause and reflect and see if this is going on. And we're going to look at that 3-wing. Let me finish this thing, right? Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward healthier interactions and a more balanced life. Isn't that really health, balance? And so if you're a deep feeler, okay, then balance that. Just balance it. If you're a deep feeler, what would balance that? Less feeling? Maybe, but I think deep thinking and deep objectivity and deep rational thought. That's going to balance. And, like you 4-wing 5s, you ought to understand what I'm talking about because you already have that strong 5 link anyway. All right, so embracing your feelings. I'm not saying don't embrace your feelings, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm saying go ahead, embrace those feelings, recognize them, be honest about them, observe them. They are real, they are meaningful, they mean something to you. But they are not the ultimate truth for you. They are truth and they do provide insight and truth for you, but they're not the only truth that you should pay attention to. You need to be able to honor your emotions without being controlled by them. You want to be authentic, okay? But don't be controlled by what you're feeling to the expense of your mind, your clear rational thoughts. So understanding this is liberating. Understanding that this might be going on sometimes is liberating and empowering because it enables you to move toward the right action and to express your creativity while at the same time moving toward right actions. Your emotions are just one part of your experience. They're not the whole picture. All right, so let's talk about 4 steps, right? Number 1, practice mindfulness. Yeah, I know you hear it before, but mindfulness is just coming into the moment and saying, what's going on? What am I feeling right now? Imagine like pausing the moment and trying to separate yourself away, withdrawing, so to speak, and saying, what am I feeling? I'm feeling mad. That's what I'm feeling. Or I'm feeling hurt. Or I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling like this person, like they might be slipping away from me. If you could be mindful for a second and before you say something out loud, before you get up and leave, before you start whatever is about to start, okay, if you could just pause for a second and try to think about what you're feeling and try to think. Notice what I said. I didn't even mean to say it, but notice what I said. Think about what you're feeling. Rather than feeling what you're thinking, think about what you're feeling and you become mindful and observant to what you're feeling. Like, I think I'm feeling upset right now. I'm feeling upset because I don't want to lose my friend. Or I'm feeling sad and hurt because I gave somebody something very special and meaningful and they just ignored it and blew it off. Well, that makes sense. That's completely rational to feel that way. Okay, but you don't need me to tell you that. Number 2, challenge your thinking. Now that you observe your thinking, challenge your thinking. And what you want to do is try to back up a little bit out of the immediate emotional response to try to be a little more objective and say, well, here's why I'm feeling this way, because it feels hurtful when somebody ignores your present you've put a lot of thought into. Or I feel upset that this other person isn't really making time for me because I love them so much. I love them so much. Okay, if you love them so much, then be careful about what you say next. All right, because I know you feel like you got to be honest and you got to be true to your feelings, but you don't always have to say exactly what's going on. You could reframe and reshape what you said. Think there's the 3-wing, okay? And some of you 4-wing 5s hate this 3-wing, but being diplomatic and careful and staying focused on your goal. In that moment, your goal, if you could be honest, your goal is, I really want to have this deeper connection with this person. Great, say that. Say that. Before you maybe get up and react and say, fine, if I'm not important to you or if I'm too much for you, then okay, before you do that, try to think about what you say and say it in the positive way, like, oh, I understand that you have this new job or this new relationship. I just miss our times together, and I feel so great when we can be together. So I think number 3 is reflecting on what's going on. And this may include journaling, writing about it. You guys are 4s, right? Whatever, write music about it, write poems about it, paint it. That's kind of your thing, right? I know, Tom, you're being cliche and cringy. I get it. My kids tell me all the time, Dad, you're so cringy. But, whatever. Reflect on it. Maybe even talk about it. Find somebody in your life that is supportive without telling you what to do. Probably a 9. Somebody in your life that you can just talk about these feelings with that will understand and help you process rather than, maybe just acting on what you're feeling. And then number 4 is then to communicate, and communicate in a more positive way. Like, instead of saying what bothers you, or instead of telling the other person what it is they said or did that frustrated you and being direct about it, try to take a minute, breathe, think about it, be objective, reflect on it, and then communicate actually what you want, and you're much more likely to get it. In other words, state the intention or the goal. Say maybe something like, I really miss our times together, and I love it when we, are able to spend time together, and I hope that going forward that we can make these interactions more consistent. Because I just love you so much. And think how that comes across. It's much more likely to move you toward what you really want in life than maybe just responding in a reaction. So recognizing that your feelings aren't always facts can help you balance your deep, rich emotional life with mental, objective clarity. This allows you to be honest with your emotions while engaging rational thinking. So if you found this video helpful or you want to continue this conversation, please like and subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys so much that check out these videos, and I hope they're helpful to you. In the comments, maybe talk about how you have found this balance in your life between emotional depth and mental clarity, or objective clarity, or how you've struggled with this, or what you're doing to try to take some steps yourself that you've learned along the way. Put those in the comments. We'd love to keep talking about that. And if you want to go deeper, check out this video I made a while back on the highs and lows of type 4s. This will help you sort of see like when you're at your best and when maybe you struggle. And if you want to keep on going and your understanding of your personality type, check this video out. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time, and always be present to life.